I think you're muted. Can't hear you.
Oh, I was going in too, Nick. I was ready. All right, let me try this again. I don't know how that happened. You guys got it on Instagram Live. I'm back on here on YouTube. Welcome home, y'all. This is Angela Wright. It is my solo pod for Native Land Pod. I have a very sensitive mic, clearly. I brushed the thing and went on mute. I apologize. It wouldn't be the first nor the last time, but I'm thrilled to be here with you all today for two very good reasons. The first is it is LoLo Smith's birthday. She, of course, is one of our producers for Native Land Pod. She keeps the show together. She keeps the trains moving. Got lots of opinions. So make sure you express an opinion to LoLo today for how grateful you are for everything she does to keep the show going, for what she offers to the community, for loving on Black folks, the culture. Real heart, LoLo, we're so grateful for you. I thank God for you. Glad to call you my little sister. And most of all, glad to tell you that you are one of my best teachers. So we love you, sis. Happy birthday. I hope you get to celebrate all across the world, what she is currently doing. I'm not going to tell y'all where she's at for security reasons. I wouldn't have to come there, want to have to fight y'all. So we're going to just go ahead and keep that on the low. But LoLo is celebrating globally for this Thanksgiving holiday. Now, that said, my second favorite reason for being here today, if I had to rank them at all, is I get to celebrate this young man who has inspired me at a time where we are being tested and tried on every single side in this country. We are being told that young people who look like me don't care about politics, that it's whatever, it's a mess, that things are just too far and they would rather not engage. You even heard Pharrell recently say that it's a trick bag, and either both sides to have to choose a side, right? I don't want to misquote the man. I think that he offered a very clarifying, poignant perspective in Michael Harriot's Contraband Camp write-up, which was brilliant, by the way. If you have not subscribed to Michael Harriot's Contraband Camp on Substack, make sure you do that. He had a great conversation with Pharrell and talks about this. But young people, we're not necessarily influenced by Pharrell. That's some old head stuff. There are other influences that exist. There are ways that they consume information now that some of us who had dial-up internet, for example, weren't exposed to. But on TikTok and other platforms, they're being exposed to lots of things, and they're being told, true, that they have the power in their hands. Very true. But there is a protest happening in Tanzania that is mostly led by folks who would be deemed the TikTok generation, right? Folks who want to ensure that they always maintain people power. That is what democracy is about. When I quote my sister, Janae Nelson, that is what she says, that democracy is all about people power. And so what we know is that the power of the people doesn't begin when we are old. The power of the people always begins in the hearts, the minds, and the courage of our young folks. And one of those courageous young folks is joining Native Land Pod today. His name is Cameran Drew. Cameran Drew is the newly elected Surry County supervisor on the Board of Supervisors. He is a Virginia Peninsula Community College student, and he is killing the game. And I'm thrilled to bring him to this podcast right now so we can have a conversation. How are you doing, Cameran?
I'm good. How are you, Angela?
I'm good. I'm gonna log off on my live so they know they got to check you out here on YouTube. So I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you for doing this, especially on a day where you're being sworn in. Tell me how you're feeling.
Yes, I'm really excited to get sworn in. I want to say thank you for having me today. But yeah, I get sworn in today. Not too long after this, we conclude today. But I'm enthused to get in there and actually get the work done.
Yes, indeed. So tell me how you gonna balance the workload with the school load. Tell me how that's gonna work.
Yes, that's proper time management. I have been in the leaders of different organizations, one being the Technology Student Association, where I was the state vice president. So that took a lot of my time as well. I'm just learning how to properly manage my time and just ensuring that, hey, I'm getting the school work done, but I'm also doing the work for the people as well. I know it's going to be some challenging times for me. That's anything in life. But I'm excited to get in there, and I know that I'm going to do some good work for the people, and I know that I'm just gonna have to manage my time very, very wisely. I know I can do that.
I know you can too. I'm curious to know what inspired you to run? Have you always liked politics? Do you like politics now? Are you like, I ran because I hate politics? I'd love to know that too.
Yeah, so I've always had a heart for helping others. I was very fortunate to have a very supportive family, many mentors and role models in my life that have done so much for me that I wanted to give back to others as well. I also own a business, motivational clothing and candle business, Press Productions. And I also own a philanthropic arm to that, Reproduce Your Future Foundation, where we give back to the youth and give them workshops, speaking engagements, scholarships, all those sorts of things. And from then to now, getting into government, I've just loved to see how governmental bodies work. I've had worked with state senators. I recently worked with Kimberly Pope Adams, who won her campaign as well. And both of them taught me so much about governmental function and governmental bodies. And that really inflated my urging power and wanting to help others within politics. Because I know outside of that, I can reach people, but I know within politics, that's actually creating the laws, to creating the systems that truly influence people. So I've always had a love for it and helping others, and just being so supportive from family and mentors, role models that have wanted me and helped me get into politics.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, because oftentimes we have conversations about elected officials, but very rarely are we talking about public servants. And what I hear you saying is that your urging to run was really built upon this desire to serve people.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yes.
that. I love
Yeah.
that. That's the most
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, I think like people truly forget when they get into office the whole purpose of being a public servant, elected official, and I think that's something that needs to come back around this time. We have a lot of self-serving public officials, and I urge my constituents. Part of my campaign was being transparent and accountable through it all. To hold me accountable, ensure that I'm being transparent to you all through it all, because you elected me. I'm doing the work for you. And you all are my bosses, so hold me accountable if I'm not doing what I promised you. To say, hey, Cam, you need to get back on track, man, because you are not doing what you promised. You're not helping our lives at all. So I think that politicians hopefully can learn that we need to start doing the work for the people and not being self-serving.
What do you plan on doing when you finish school?
So I continue to plan on engaging in politics, but also continue with my business and foundation. As far as like next steps, I'm still just taking it day by day. Just keeping doing the work, ensuring that I'm doing the work, because I know my steps are already ordered by my Lord and Savior, and I just know that whatever He has for me is for me, and I'm going to do the work to get there.
Your steps are most definitely ordered, Cameron. I want to ask you about your platform. So you ran on one of the platforms, at least, was about lowering taxes.
Yes.
Which I think historically, I know you know too from your studies in your civics class, which we'll get to in a little bit, is that's normally a conservative platform item, like lowering taxes. But in this day and age, one thing that we've seen across the aisle, even when you look at Mayor Mamdani, who just won in New York, his platform was all about affordability. And I hear you saying, hey, if we lower this particular tax rate, this brings people in. It makes the cost of living more affordable. I don't know where we got to the place where taxes or affordability was a partisan issue, but you saw Donald Trump run on that in 2024, and you saw Mamdani run on that for this election now. So I'm curious to know where you feel like you fit in the political spectrum, or if you feel like you fit at all.
Well, I believe that I fit in the political spectrum as someone who is just there for the people. I understand parties are all about, all right, politics is two-sided, as we have seen and we continue to see. But I'm just solely focused on doing the work for the people, and just specifically on the tax purpose. I think that's the issue that is prevalent all across the country, that Lord, the tax rate is high, and especially in my county is high. And that is solely because we don't have the businesses to contribute to a strong tax base. So we have to tax our citizens. So if we can ensure that, hey, we're growing opportunities, when it comes to opportunities for the youth, like growing businesses, which leads to jobs and different resources for the youth and other constituents within that county, but also contributes to the wiser population so they can lower the tax rate, keep more money in their pockets. So I think it's a whole cycle behind it. And like, I'm just focused on doing the work. I mean, I understand that it's a two-party system, but I am truly focused on doing the work for my constituents.
When you consider your opponent, for example, I'd like to know what are the largest distinctions that you drew between yourself and your opponent?
I think one of the largest distinctions was that his age differences. Of course, because we both think differently.
Mhm.
There
Wait,
weren't.
Cameran, to be clear on that, I just want to say for our audience, Cameran is 19 and
Yes.
his opponent was 44. For the record, I'm 46, but I want to hear his answer.
Yeah, so and I do think that was the biggest issue because I mean, like I said, we think differently, and I think that there was this when you have a county that with the median age population of 50.7, that says a lot to me. That says that, oh, why are we not retaining the youth population? And part of that's because that we weren't represented. There weren't people who always advocated for us, and I think that was the biggest difference between myself and my opponent. And there were a lot of similarities between us, the biggest difference was the age, and that the citizens really had to make a decision of if they wanted fresh, new face, new energy, new ideas, or if they wanted the same outcomes, and ultimately they picked someone new.
So let me ask you, so you're saying the biggest difference really was age. So you feel like you ran on taxes, lowering taxes, and this age difference, like a new generation bringing in new ideas, right?
Yeah, so taxes, opportunities for the youth, and then fresh perspective. Yeah, that's basically what I ran
Okay.
on.
Okay. Opportunities for youth. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, here's my other question.
Mhm.
How, if the platforms weren't significantly different, do you think that you guys see education, for example, similarly?
Yes. I think
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Do you think that you all see public safety, like the role of law enforcement in community, similarly?
I would think so.
Yeah.
And why
It's okay
the
if you don't know
different?
too. I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
I'm not 100% sure
Yeah.
because of what has gone on with different localities
Mhm.
and in law enforcement offices when different federal agents come in. I'm not sure.
Oh, I
Okay,
see.
what public servants,
Mhm.
our personal law enforcement, how that would difference from me and him. So I'm just not sure about that one.
Okay. Well, I'll leave
Yes.
that alone. But the point that
Yes.
I'm trying to get at is
uh
because I hear you, and I think that's a good distinction to make. Very astute for our public servant in the building, Supervisor elect Cameron Drew. I am curious because it didn't sound like there's a whole lot of light between your positions, and as a result, there wasn't a whole lot of um, difference in the number of people that cast their votes. In fact, your race is a great case study for why every single vote matters and must count.
yes.
You won by 10 votes.
Yes.
Is that
Well,
correct? That was
it was actually eight. Once they certified election, he picked up 2 votes, so it was actually
8
8 votes.
votes. Okay, so
Yes.
you won by 8 votes. Not a lot of light necessarily between the two positions. You're more progressive, he's more conservative leaning, but there is another connection you all have, Cameron. Talk to me about that other connection.
Yeah. So I will touch on really quickly the importance of voting. Like many people say that, especially young folks say that, oh, my vote doesn't count. Or how if I vote this, then and then the other side loses or whatnot, then why am I voting? And like I said, this is a great case study of why voting happens, and I hope more people pay attention to that. That not only that he's my teacher and I beat my teacher. But what I take from this is I'm 19 and that I won by 8 votes and I know I won by 8 votes was because I was out there doing the work. I was out late at night knocking doors. I was out at the polling precinct from 6:30 to 4:30, just shaking hands, meeting people and letting them know that, hey, I'm serious about this. And then leaning into how we're closely connected was that he was my high school government teacher. He did teach me so much about how governmental bodies work. He taught me so much about how I can influence governmental bodies. We even did trips to our state capitol where we shadowed different senators and delegates and got to meet so many different elected officials when I was in high school. So he also played a tremendous role into me getting into politics.
Which I love. And to this day, you still consider him your mentor, right? Or a mentor.
Well, yeah. So I consider him a role model and a mentor. Yes, he is one of those people who I know I can go to for anything, along with the other mentors I have as well. Yeah.
I love it. So my question now for you is he going to be on your like transition team? Are you going to have him as a special advisor? He's somebody who didn't occupy the seat before. You all were both running in a special election. I think there've been some reports that said, there's, someone who was has been in that seat for a while and you ran against him. That's not the case. It was a fresh election with two different people, two slightly different platforms, two very different ages, running in a special election to fulfill the term of supervisor. Is it jury?
Yes, jury.
Yeah, jury.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's remarkable and it's fascinating. Curious to know if you would keep him as one of your advisors for this particular role.
Yeah, so just to back up a little bit, just to get the audience a little bit more in-depth detail. So there was an appointment. Myself, along Mr. Bell, both seek the appointment. We had to just send in our resumes why we wanted to be part of the role, and then it was an interview process. Ultimately, I didn't get the interview. I didn't get the appointment. They went with Mr. Bell. He held the seat for 2 months, which technically he was the incumbent because he had held the seat for that 2 months.
I stand corrected. Okay, I got you now.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. So appointed,
Yes.
and then they had to hold a special election after the appointed time. Got it. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Get me together on my civics, Cameron. That's good.
Yes. Not to toot my own horn, but I beat the incumbent, a beloved member of our community, as many people would say, someone who would say has more experience, even though we have equal amounts of experience, and also my teacher. So not to my own horn, but I did do that. And he and I do intend to seeking advice from him as far as when I get sworn in and get into the position. But I laugh because we're a county, so we're a lot smaller than what you think a city is. So we don't really have a transition team because we're not that large. But I do intend on seeking advice in what he has done in the 2 months he's served and what he continued to want to do. Because, like I said, our platforms weren't completely different at all, really. It's just personnel who you wanted. So I do intend on seeking advice from him and seeking guidance from him continually as well.
Well, I read somewhere that you said also you're interested, once you finished at VPCC, that you're interested in going to Virginia State University. I don't know if you know the president there, who I really, really respect greatly, but also my good friend, Wes Bellamy, who is also Dr. Wes Bellamy, also a fantastic lecturer and professor in political science there. So I'm sure you would be taking some of those classes, even if you did keep a business administration major. But he is someone, if you don't know him, you absolutely must know him. And I'm proud to make that introduction.
Yes, I would love that. And also, I have met President Abdullah on multiple occasions, and he is phenomenal. And he's part of a huge reason of why I intend on going there. And also one of my mentors, Skylar Jefferson, she went there as well, so she's helped me.
I love that.
and showed me the ropes of Virginia State. And I really love the campus. I've loved the people, being around my people, and I'm excited to graduate in spring to head over there in fall of 26.
I love it. Well, let me know if there's anything I can do. Wes Bellamy, like you, as a young elected official, responsible for getting some of those Confederate statues down there in Virginia. So I think he would be really, really good for you to keep talking to. You beat your teacher, but you're keeping him close. Still your mentor. I love that. And even if they don't have official transition teams, Cameron, you can always have one. Keep your board of advisors, your kitchen cabinet. I know that our NLP, our Native Land Pod fan, will be happy to be a part of your advisory group. And we're just really wishing you the best. So I hope that you have a magnificent Thanksgiving that begins with today's swearing in. Take it all in stride. Keep working hard. I hope next semester you don't have to take as many online classes. I just don't swear by it. I want you to be able to be in that classroom. You might inspire some other folks to run. Maybe not against you, because that would not be the smartest thing. But maybe they would get invited. They would get into another office. But I love this so much. It's so inspiring. Keep, as Reverend Jackson would say, keep hope alive. Know that you are inspiring so many of us who are getting frustrated with this process, because our better angels still exist. So Cameran Drew, thank you so much. Supervisor-elect Cameran Drew. And after about an hour from now, y'all can just call him Supervisor Drew. All right. Thank you so much, Cameran.
Thank you so much, Ms. Angela. I had a great time. I appreciate this so much.
Oh, it's my honor. We got to come back and meet the rest of the crew.
Yes, maybe in person this time.
Oh, we love that. We could do that.
Yes,
sir. Okay, take care, hon, and welcome
you too.
home.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Y'all, you see why you just had to hear from Supervisor-elect Cameran Drew today. I was so inspired by his story. I want to shout out Mr. Bell, who was the incumbent. I stand corrected. He was the incumbent for a couple of months as an appointee in that role after Supervisor Drew left. I'm sure Supervisor Bell had a great tenure, and I know, because I've seen the coverage, he is so proud of Supervisor-elect Cameran Drew. We are going to keep making sure that we share stories of light with you all in this political space, because it's a dark time. But one thing that we know is we're going to be all right. That's what Kendrick Lamar said. We're going to hold him to it. And we're going to hold each other to it. So I wish you all the very, very best holiday week. Again, if you haven't shouted her out in the YouTube comments, it's LoLo Smith's birthday. Shout out to LoLo. Happy birthday. And make sure you all hit her up on IG, follow her, get some good wisdom and teaching, and tell her thank you for making sure the Native Land Pod happens. I also want to take this moment to thank our whole team. You all do not see the people who have to deal with my lack of tech abilities, like Nick Harter, who is our producer, Lauren Hansen, who's an advisor to our show, Chris Morrow, who we call the Pod Father, one of the founders of Reason Choice, Lenard, who I argue with daily about politics, of course, Chloe, who does our graphics, and Jordan, who's our new addition as a part of our editing team. They are all brilliant, bright lights, all really, really smart young people. Cameran got me on here feeling old. He was like, I had to beat the old head 44. I'm like, well, I'm 46. It's a cold game. I also want to shout out his mentor who joined and has been helping him with press, Jascotta Jefferson, and all of you who are working in the lives of young people to make a difference, and the young people who are working to ensure that this world is a better place. We thank God for you all. I'm going to say Happy Turkey Day. I'm not necessarily celebrating Thanksgiving like the old heads do, but it's going to be Gratitude Day at my house. What y'all making? I hope it's not no marshmallows on the yams. All right, before I start a fight, I'm out of here. Welcome home, y'all.
Nobody knows the troubles I've seen. Welcome